I'm Vanessa Rose. I am the daughter of an Italian-American mother and Chilean immigrant father. My style of food is simple and fresh. Life has taken me on many food ventures. Tuna fishing in Cabo San Lucas, taking in the sights and tastes of Europe, or preparing meals in our family kitchen. The best of life centered around food, laughter, and love. Phoenix is now my home, where there's always a reason to gather around a table. My kitchen is full of cooking ideas that will make meals fun. God invites us into the greatest hide-and-seek adventure by exploring the flavors He put in this earth. Let's discover fresh flavors and taste new foods. Join me and my friends as we celebrate all of life's finest occasions by indulging in vibrant eats. Together we'll enjoy this beautiful life as we create each beautiful bite. Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I love everything about Christmas. Handwriting Christmas cards, baking goodies, and hanging ornaments on the tree. Laughter, love, and generosity fill the season. The best part is sharing the joys of the holidays with family and friends. If anyone knows how to throw a fiesta, it's our neighbors to the south. Latin America celebrates Navidad con ricas tradiciones. I'll be exploring a fusion of those festivities today by hosting a La Posada for all my Latin American friends, con música, piñatas, celebrando y delicioso comida. We'll start with a beautifully roasted turkey, a nod to South American Christmas dinner tradition. This bird is brined and slowly roasted to create that crispy skin, perfectly contrasting its juicy breast and moist thighs. This bite is savory and satisfying. Next, it's tamale time, the core of Mexican Christmas customs. We'll join my friend, Chef Oscar Diaz, to make them fusion style, incorporating all the best of different Latin American countries. The masa is hearty, the olives are salty, the cheese is creamy, and the peppers are spicy. Together, they create a flavorful and filling bite. And let's finish our party with Bunuelos de Espana. Light as air dough wrapped around crisp apples and fried until golden brown. Rolling them in cinnamon and sugar give it that extra sweet and warm finesse, a seasonal and nostalgic bite. Join me as we prepare these beautiful bites. We're here at the beautiful Antigua Gardens to host this fabulous La Posada. Vamos a celebrar la Navidad. A La Posada is the traditional Mexican celebration which recounts Mary and Joseph's journey to Bethlehem in search for a place to stay. The guests create a procession and sing the Posada song before the party host welcomes them in. Once welcomed in, the guests enjoy music, dancing, food, and celebration. Where does Jesus have a place? Do you invite him in? For the innkeepers in Bethlehem that night, the answer was no. And so Jesus spent the rest of his life on earth without a place to call home. A feeding trough was his first cradle. His formative years spent as a refugee in Egypt, he wandered for 40 days in the wilderness before his ministry began. Foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. This God who created it all had no home, and why? So that there would always be room for you. Jesus emptied himself of his privilege when he came as the ultimate Christmas present. Humility compelled him to sleep in the stable. Humility compelled him to carry the cross. And it's because of the cross that we have a forever home with him. The cross, God's gift of his Son, makes Christmas beautiful. And so now we're back where it all began. Behold, Jesus says, I stand at the door and knock, and if any man hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and dine with him, and he with me. Jesus is a filler and not a forcer. He will never force himself into your life, but he will beckon you to experience life with him. The only question is, do you invite him in?
Father, thank you for allowing us to celebrate the birth of your Son along with all of our beautiful, wonderful friends and families. We ask that you keep blessing our friends and our families, Father, and we thank you because you've provided for us in the past, and we know that you will keep providing for us in the future. Thank you for the meals and the nourishment you've provided for us right in our tables, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.
Let's eat.
I love turkey, and the best way to make a juicy, moist bird is to brine it. And this is actually going to be our nod to South America, because it's very traditional in South America to have a roast bird, a roast turkey, a roast pheasant, whatever it might be, for Christmas. We are going to create a yummy brine today, and you want to make sure to get a food-safe bucket. You can get these at any local home improvement store, and they are not going to use chemicals or BPA to make the bucket. They're only a few dollars and essential to have. We're going to start with approximately a gallon of chicken stock, and then about a gallon of water. Then we're going to do about 4 to 5 garlic cloves, a cup of brown sugar, a cup of kosher salt, quarter cup of black peppercorns, fresh thyme, some fresh rosemary, some fresh sage, and about 5 or 6 bay leaves. And then a cinnamon stick for a little bit of warmth. Give that a good stir. You want to make sure to stir this a little bit so that way it gets all mixed in together nicely. Perfect. Smells delicious. Take the bird out, and it takes about 2 days to thaw properly inside of your refrigerator. And then you want to rinse it, put it breast down inside of the brine. Then you want to cover it with ice. You're typically going to brine this anywhere from 12 to 16 hours. I typically just do it earlier the night before. Check the bucket throughout the evening once or twice and just make sure that there's still a good amount of ice in there that's frozen. If not, just add a little bit more. Go ahead and cover up the bird and put it in a nice cool location. Check the ice every once in a while and let it sit for 12 to 16 hours, and then it'll be ready to roast. You want to make sure to pat the skin nice and dry so that way it gets crispy, because if you leave it too moist, then it's going to steam instead of fry beautifully. Before we oil the skin, you're going to want to take a piece of tin foil and form it to the breast. Now you want to take that off in the shape that it is. So now you're going to just take some canola oil. Just going to give it a little rub down. You want to tuck the wings underneath the legs, otherwise they're going to get super crispy. Perfect. Sprinkle some salt on the skin so that you can get a nice, crispy, delicious, flavorful skin. Now that we've salted the skin and oiled it, you just want to go ahead and put your aromatics inside of the cavity. So you're going to want to go ahead and shove a sweet Videla onion, just big, thick slices, 2 cloves of garlic, the cinnamon stick from the brine, and then just a little bit of some fresh thyme, fresh sage, and fresh rosemary. And those are just some beautiful aromatics that are gonna end up filling this turkey, which is so much more flavor and even more importantly, your house. Let's go ahead and stick this in and get the bird going. Beautiful, cooked to a perfect 161 degrees. Beautiful brown skin. We're gonna go ahead and take the meat thermometer out. And I'm actually going to take the bird out and let it sit to rest. You want to leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes to go ahead and rest in its own juices. Perfect. Now is the best part, the gravy. So I realize that gravy is not traditional to South American style turkey. However, whenever you have all these delicious pan drippings and all this flavor sitting here, there's no reason not to utilize all this flavor. So what I typically do, you don't have to do it this way, is I actually make the gravy inside of the pan, because then that way as you bring it to a boil, you're gonna get all of the delicious fat and the drippings and the skin that have been cooking in the pan for the last few hours. So as you see, you get this beautiful, thick layer on the bottom of the pan. That means flavor. Let's go ahead and turn it down just a little bit. First, I took the giblets and I've been cooking them in boiling water and a little bit of brine. And I'm not gonna use them all, but I am gonna use a little bit of the juice here so you can see the giblets they've been cooking. Just pour a little bit of that water in there, and let's just take one piece. That might be the kidney or something. If you have people that are grossed out by that, don't tell them what it is, but it's the absolute best thing to use for gravy, and nothing tastes quite as good. Let's chop that up a little bit. We're gonna use an immersion blender here in just a second to make sure this gets really, really smooth. So we're gonna add a little bit of milk here to start, or heavy cream, or half and half, whatever you have. And then the big secret behind thickening up the gravy is creating a roux. And so that is just gonna be hot water and flour. And you just wanna mix it. This is way too much for what we need, but I usually like to make a little more than I need. So you wanna add the roux in and start to watch it. It takes a few minutes, just takes a little bit of care because you don't want it to be too thick. So we're gonna continue to just cook this down a little bit. And you can either do black pepper or white pepper. It's rich, it's delicious, and it is such a delicious treat. Dia de los Reyes, or Three Kings Day, celebrates the day the wise men gave gifts to the Christ child. The three kings arrive with gifts for the children. It is traditionally celebrated on January 6th, also known as the Feast of the Epiphany.
Then out of the east there came royalty, whose mission was finding the Savior you see. When they finally found the babe they had sought, gold, frankincense, and myrrh were the gifts they had brought. So the wise men bowed down and praised his sweet name. Soon all those who heard would rejoice that he came. And now we that know can say with delight, Jesus was born on that first Christmas night.
Disfruta los tamales! Chef Oscar Diaz, so we're going to be making tamales today.
Yes, Vanessa, we are making real good tamales, Latin flavor,
Okay.
like salsa, okay?
Salsa, I love it, yes. And so it's going to be more of a fusion tamale though.
Yes, yes. So I'm from Lima, Peru, South America.
Yes.
But I went to all the places, okay, to Central America, Mexico, Costa Rica, Peru, Argentina, Chile, Ecuador. So I go to the markets and everything, and I saw a lot of similars. Okay.
A lot of similarities
Yeah.
in the flavors.
Yes.
We're actually making a vegetarian tamale today. What type of tamale is this?
It's very healthy, okay? So I'm using this corn.
Okay.
So let me cut this corn. Nice.
So it's just fresh corn that you husk.
Fresh corn, okay? Look at how nice and easy.
Yes.
Okay. Right here. Let me put corn, okay? And also condensed milk. Just a little bit. So real butter. A little bit of coconut
Coconut oil.
oil. That's it. All right.
So you don't use lard or anything like that in your tamales?
No. Are you hungry?
Oh, I'm hungry, Chef Oscar. I'm ready for some yummy tamales. And your tamales are so good. Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
let's do everything. Nice.
Wonderful. So you didn't add any more liquid to that, so it would just make this thicker.
Yes,
correct?
more thicker.
Okay.
You got it.
A lot of times, at least here in Arizona, we think of tamales as solely a Mexican tradition, but it's not. It's even in Peru, you make tamales. It's very okay.
En Ecuador, Bolivia, en Machu Picchu, Lima, Peru, they made a lot of tamales there. Now, I'm putting cheese here.
And this is queso fresco.
Queso fresco, cheese, fresh cheese.
Always more cheese.
Yes, cheesy.
You can never have too much cheese.
Cheesy.
Yes.
This is kosher salt.
Okay, very good.
Kosher
yes.
salt, okay?
No chemicals then.
No chemicals. A little bit of sugar.
Some azúcar.
Sugar. Yeah, just a little bit. Now it's ready.
So this is a double boiler, a
Yeah.
steamer, okay? So you just want to fill it with water at the bottom and then
Yes.
get it to a boil, right?
Yes. When it's hot enough, it's boiling, I put it low.
Okay.
All this here.
I'll let just stuff mine a little more.
You see, Vanessa, what I'm doing? I'm putting all this here.
Oh, so you line the bottom with the
Yes.
corn husks.
Yes.
Okay.
You like tamales, huh?
I love tamales. See, I'm making my own. I put a little more corn and I put extra cheese.
Yeah, it's all right. So now, let me put this right here, and we leave it like 1 hour and a half.
1.5 hours. Okay.
Yeah. Okay?
Perfect. So you just leave it, don't touch it, don't open
Don't touch it, don't open it. 1 hour and a half is ready to eat.
And then it's tamale time.
It's tamale time.
Join the conversation and follow us on all social media platforms. Making one of my recipes at home? Snap a photo and post it with hashtag It's a Beautiful Bite. Going on your own food venture? Take photos and post them with hashtag Food Ventures. Have your own Jesus moment to share? Share it with hashtag Jesus Moments. Visit us at itsabeautifulbite.com for recipes from this episode and so much more. We are now making Bunuelos de Espana or Bunuelos de manzana y canela. So we're gonna start with the flour, put some salt, just a little bit of baking powder. This just helps make it a little bit more airy and light. An egg. Start to mix this up one step at a time here. Some room temperature butter. Super important for that to be room temperature. Whenever you're baking, always try to use room temperature ingredients, otherwise it's really gonna mess with the consistency. Sugar, cinnamon, vanilla, some milk. I like to add in a little bit at a time so that way I can get it nice and smooth. Perfect, so you have a beautiful runny consistency. And then an apple, just cubed nice and small. And we have some delicious buñuelo dough that we are going to go over to our stove, add in some canola or vegetable oil, get it to about 300 to 350 degrees. You don't want it much cooler or else it will cook too slow, and you don't want it much hotter or else it's gonna get brown too soon before it cooks all the way through. You're just going to want to let them fry for a little while until they turn a nice golden brown. So as you can see, you're gonna want to turn these a couple times. They're getting that beautiful golden brown color on the other side. Look at that beautiful golden brown. So you're gonna want to set them on a paper towel so they can absorb a little bit of the grease real quick here. So we're just gonna toss these inside the cinnamon sugar. Toss, beautiful. We don't wanna overcoat it because then it'll be too sweet. Oops. You get the cinnamon, sugar, you get a nice crunchy outside. That little bit of baking powder gives it a nice, thin, but delicious, moist inside.